Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am setting up my bullet journal for June, and as with all of my monthly setups, I start with a dashboard and then do a cover page. For June I decided to do the theme, I'm calling it Mr. Mister. I have top hats, bowler hats, bow ties, monocles, and I thought it would be fun as a bit of a nod to Father's Day. I know it's seldom that you come across more masculine themed bullet journal layouts, so I hope if you're looking for one, this will hit the mark for you. You could probably trade out the colors a little bit to something more muted, but I decided to just go for it and add that bright pop of color. Initially, I thought it looked a little bit like Blippi, but I think I did a good enough job of making it not so Blippi. As I have this whole year so far, or at least since March, I did a pull tab for my cover page. This is actually a very, very simple pull tab. I ended up cutting a strip of clear cellophane. I cut it roughly the width of 4 squares, and I just kept the length, and I ended up cutting a portion in my notebook to allow the strip through and the strip to rotate around the piece of paper, if that makes sense. You can see me doing it right here. And then I ended up gluing it into a bit of a circle. Now you don't want to glue it too tight or else it's not going to work. And you also want to glue down any pieces that might get caught on the paper edges. So that's what you saw me do there. And now I am figuring out where I wanted to put my bow tie pull tab. I folded my pull tab in 2, that way it's stronger and lasts longer. I'm going to tell you right now, I have run into some issues with some of my older cover pages with the pull tabs where the pull tab isn't strong enough anymore. So this is definitely for long-lasting layouts. You're going to want to use as thick a paper as you can get away with. So I'm gluing my bow tie pull tab. The double folded pull strip did end up making the rest of the pages a bit bumpy, which I haven't come across in my previous layouts, so it's a bit of a give and take, but I really like how it turned out, so overall it was worth it for me. This is a trick I learned to draw my moustache. I use a circle stencil and then I draw the moustache based on that. It's one of the easiest ways to get the moustaches to be even. I really struggle with similar shapes and drawing them the exact same way. And I found this was a bit of a cheat to help me get that evenness that I wanted. And here I'm just doing some faux calligraphy to do my June. This is actually one of the more minimal cover pages that I've ever done. Normally, I don't like white pages. I never know what to do with them or what to fill them with, but I decided to leave this one because it was impactful, so I was happy with that. I'm using my acrylographs to add highlighting, and I used my silver acrylograph to color in the band on the hat just to add more visual interest. And then I'm gluing the page down, and that's just to keep the pull tab mechanism in place. And I'm putting glue strips beside the pull tab. Again, that's just to keep it all in place. And it works smoothly. I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think it's my favorite of all the pull tabs I've done, both for simplicity and impact. And then this is my monthly overview. I thought it would be fun to make a monocle with a J in it. And it took a little while and my camera cut out, but I just drew lines. And the font, decided to do a typewriter font and then of course calligraphy. That way it kind of ties the two together and gives it that quirky 1920s kind of vibe. To make this more masculine, you obviously don't have to use calligraphy. You can change it to something cursive or even just a more masculine font like Arial, I guess. I don't know. Don't really think of Arial as masculine, but that just came out. And this is probably my favorite part of my layouts for June. To go along with my kind of masculine theme, I decided to put dad jokes throughout my layouts. And my monthly overview dad joke is, I ordered a chicken and an egg on Amazon. I'll let you know. Here you see a glimpse of the stickers that will be available for free download to my email subscribers. And there will also be stickers up in the shop for you to purchase. My next page is my habit tracker page. I decided to have some fun with it again, and I drew various hats from more or less the same era. This is honestly my least favorite layout of the bunch. Again, I left a lot more white space than I have in my last few monthly setups, and a part of me doesn't like it, but when I look at it as a whole, I'm okay with it and I'm happy with it. And you'll see as I start to finish up putting this all together. I do go back in later, you'll see, and add some just details and hash marks and lines to the hats, which made them more visually interesting. I had some fun with the bow ties and ended up giving them a checkered pattern. I'll share a tutorial probably over on Instagram on how I did that. But it turned out really cool, and I really liked it. I made a lot of use of my circle stencils throughout this layout or setup. I will say this, I have 3 different kinds. I have the stencil you just saw, the compass stencil that you would have seen on my monthly layout. And then of course I have my Helix circle stencil, which is one of my new favorites. And the stamp set I'm using is from my shop. It's my mini calendar stamp set. And the Monoline pens I'm using are from Pigeon, the Pigeon letters. I really do like them. They don't lose their vibrance when you erase over top of them. They also don't smudge when you use watercolor pens over top of them either. So I really appreciated that, and I do like using them. They're not quite as vibrant of a black necessarily as the Tombows, but they still hold up really, really well to various mediums such as, like I said, watercolor and water-based pens. For this quote, or at least this dad joke, I used Stephen King has a son named Joe. I'm not Joe King, but he is. This bow tie went a little bit astray. So in a nutshell, if you can't wait for the tutorial, when you are doing your checkered prints, make sure you draw the same amount of lines on the left side of the bow as the right side of the bow. Otherwise, it looks a little wonky like this one turned out. I also made the lines way too close together, and so it doesn't really look all that good. But when you look at the layout from afar, it doesn't look too bad. And then, as always, I outline my lettering just to make it pop off the page more, and I just went in and added lines as shadows. For my trackers, I wrote in the bands on the hats. I'm tracking my water intake, my exercise, food logging, and for June, I'm hoping to be more consistent in my journaling. So I wanted to make sure to track that as well. And then I will just mark off the dates or black them out when I accomplish my habit for that day. So this is my brain dump page. Or I guess I called it a brain drain. I just realized now I called it a brain drain. And here you see me doing the 3D checkered print effect onto the bow tie again. And I used a Sparkle Pop, a Pentel Sparkle Pop pen as the second element of the checkered print. And I actually really loved how it turned out. Definitely made it more fun and interesting. I did watch The Greatest Showman while I was putting this layout together, so I was definitely taken with all of the fun of the movie, and so decided to add some sparkle to my layout as well. For my stickers, for the printables and in the shop, I have days of the week in the typewriter font. I have some bow tie washi as well. That includes the monocle, the bowler hat, and the bow tie. I then also have some doodle stickers of the bow ties and the moustaches and the bowler hats and monocles. And so you can check those out. I'll link that down below. And this is my weekly layout. I am doing a Dutch door. I haven't done a functional Dutch door in the last couple of months, so I decided to do it for this month. And separating my Dutch door or my Dutch door portion, I decided to draw a big monocle. Initially, I thought about making it functional, but then I decided, no, I'll just have fun with it. And I'm using my stamp again. I did end up squishing everything in together, which I hated, but it's done. It is what it is. And so these are the days of the week stickers that you will be able to get, and that bow tie is part of the set as well. This is my task list page. I do the Alistair method, which is rapid logging of my tasks, and then I assign them to different days using dots. And I have a key that I use to track which tasks are done when, and if they're migrated to another day or if they're migrated to another week. And I find this really helps me because A, you don't have to keep moving something from one day to the next if you don't do it. And B, you can just write down everything you need to do and then worry about when you have to do it later, if that makes sense. But it does help my productivity. On this side of the flap, I will be writing my weekly focus for the week. I take my weekly focus out of my goal planner, and I need to definitely have that more front and center. For this dad joke, I'm using Einstein developed a theory about space, and it was about time too. So I hope you enjoyed this month's layout. You can see more, I'll share more still images over on my Instagram, so you can go check that out. But otherwise, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one.